Okay, I don't know much about Michelle Abrams, but it says here she's from Corbett, Oregon. Please give her a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a Kodiak fisherman from Kodiak and Corbett now, and I write children's stories about some of the adventures. I write children's stories about some of the adventures we had on the beach and the shores and the water during those years. This is called Alaska Winter Walk. Only one snow this year so far, and it was light. Now at the end of January, the wind is cold but secretive about the weather to come. In the field sloping up the mountain, my husky mix mouse hops, like all his kind, tied in kinship to the wolf and the fox. Kiska's mouse hops tells me that there is still food right now, should I be hungry, should I want to share. Along the Kodiak shoreline where our cabin is, are clams and mussels, an octopus under some rocks, and the candlefish, oil-rich, and the lichen and grasses. Sometimes a lone, spawned-out salmon may lie, still gasping in a narrow string mouth. Even in winter, there is sustenance. My old dog comes back to walk beside me. In continuing process, our steps through time. He was beside us all, in Central Africa, in the valleys of Mesopotamia, and in the foothills of the Pyrenees. His steps matched ours through the warm savannas and the cold Alps to Uppsala, far in the north, where we stayed, grew anxious, and moved on. He followed us on to the Mongolian steppes, to Kamchatka, and forward. He came with us on our longest trail across Beringia, by foot and raft through the passages of continents, the millennia drawing us past walls of ice and plains of tundra and marsh. And we are here now in this grassy field. The spongy turf above the frozen pack gives spring to our step, and a slanting winter sun brushes the undulating field with the cool palette. Snow on the top of Grayback Mountain frames the dried gold of old grass and the rusty escarpments of the lower hills. Where Kiska's coat catches the sun's rays, the narrow flags of blowing grass around him are a pulsing silver. Like me, he has seen seasons full in fruition and others skeptical in defense. On this day, he runs with the energy of a young dog, tail up, head stretched forward. The blinking of sun through the clouds dapple his fur and brighten the distant hills. Both of us embracing the ancient memory of space beyond boundaries. This one's called Boots. Boots on the ground when the work starts anew, boots lined up when the day is through, boots in the skiff and boots on deck, boots that went over and got hung up wet, Kodiak dancing slippers left at the door after the pitch-off and back onto shore, returning fish veteran or green newcomer, all wear boots to fish each summer. Boots are the heart of the fisherman's kit, of utmost importance from where we all sit. Extra Toughs, Viking, muck boots and bogs, Wellington, Service, and Cofish clogs, all fit the bill for the fisherman's feet, but such are the dreams that some never meet. 6'5" Jimmy, with feet size 15, stepped out of the skiff soaked up to his knees. A closer look taken by all on the shore began with a "what?" and led to a roar. "Why in the heck are you wearing those?" As Jimmy stood dripping in a crooked smile pose. "Nothing would fit me in town," he proposed. I found these on the dock after the bars had closed. A soggy pair of wingtips graced his frozen limbs. Two-tone floor shimes with black edge trims. Dual-colored leather, inexpensive soft calf, dapperly set off his outfit and his laugh. Plastic bags come off, and these sorta dry at night, so I have to make do till the store gets it right. Young Casey from Naknek had a similar plight that Exxon year when we fished day and night. In tents and skiffs with tarps for sleeping places, we all fished the flats miles from our places. With an hour or so free as the tender departed, Casey came visiting before fishing restarted. Denise, Mark, and I were eating our lunch, sitting on slippy skiffs, temporary bunks. Casey tied up and joined us a while, accepting a sandwich with a tired, wry smile. We rumored and gossiped about too much to mention when his crossed legs finally got our attention. "What in the world is wrong with your feet?" Denise blurted, laughing, her concern indiscreet. Casey let out an oath that steamed up the place, but just shook his head at the timing and space. "I ordered these boots from the outfit in town. They had nothing to fit me when I was around. The other ones leaked and no one could spare the time or the research to lend me a pair. The mail plane dropped these off some 3 weeks ago, and now I don't even notice my poor right toe. There's nothing to do but see the season complete. I've just gotten used to having 2 left feet." Tom's short boots from the Alabama season where he dragged for shrimp became such a beacon that when he walked down the beach to visit us once, they looked like 2 headlights in the distance. Decked out in fish scales, the white plastic shimmered, surpassing the look of our own boots so covered. The scales caught the light, blinking purple and pink, canceling descriptions of gurry and stink. His boots danced the beach from the toes to the cuffs, but we noticed next morning he was back into extra tufts. Bright orange shoe goose spotted Rodney's last pair, matching his rain gear and also his hair. Tommy D's high tops were not hard to see, sprayed with a green paint and a T and a D. Jan got artistic and took a felt marker, scrawling art on his boots to make them look smarter. Whatever our fortunes, whatever our losses, whether we're crewmen or high liner bosses, on board or on land, through dry or through squall, our boots are our main kit, we fisher folk all. This is called Alaskan Night. I lost my husband of 44 years a year ago this weekend, and this is for him. Newly married, my first season in Kodiak, and late at night, Alan said to me, "Come with me, I want to show you something." We left the warm cabin. The midnight sun, never casting shadows, barely outlined the smoothness of hills and bay. Pulling in the first skiff on the line, we watched the bright phosphorescence trace each draw of the skiff through the black water. He motored on low to the middle of the bay and cut the engine. "Listen," he said. The water lapped softly on the bow as the skiff settled into the vastness of twilight sky and darkened earth and sea. 2 dolphins arched near us. Their rise from the fathomless waters was followed by retortive air expelling and the taking of another breath. As always, each animal turning slightly to look at us with one eye, the breezeless night strengthening the silence. Al stood and put his hand out to the night. Galvanized tin stars dotted the foggy sky, the hills barely breaking from the blue-gray backdrop of mountains and coldly bathed by a sliver of white moon. Through the quiet, and the weight of an endless space without daylight, I knew he was hearing the life of this place he loved. The footfalls of the deer and mountain sheep, the cacophony of a million seabirds, coughing barks of red foxes, the huff of grizzlies, and the scuttling scurry of voles and ermines. I know he heard the eagles soaring over them all, their great wings whispering as they watched the wild and timeless rush of silver rivers of salmon drawn through time and passion to their ends and to their new beginnings. From that moment, I understood the fisherman's heart.